The countdown means the... Hey, patrons! It's Cinnamon Coney, your Art Sherpa, and this is our Patron exclusive live stream. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hey, guys.
He is going to be keeping me company, making sure you guys see every part of the action, and chatting with you. I think this is going to be a little different than our regular live streams because we're going to be a smaller little family, having a smaller little live, just chatting with each other, hanging out, and arting, and I think... that's going to be a nice little change of pace because YouTube certainly keeps us moving along furiously.
Yes, it does.
It's like, you got to go. So I hope everybody's good today. I sent out a newsletter with the link and the traceable and the info because I'm still trying to figure out how to describe to the tech team that I need to be able to deliver to some dashboards, but not all dashboards, that information.
Yeah.
So,
now,
quotas.
I've got some other things set up and running just to real quick help everybody. If you text Sherpa Patron to 33222, then you'll be part of the patron only notification system.
For the power patrons and the precious patrons.
Right. So you guys will get the patron notification when we do these live events and the links. So there you go.
That'll probably be especially good for like the figure painting and stuff like that, or any weird like surprise thing that we do. Because sometimes we get a wild paintbrush going.
Well, you do.
I do.
I
get this like sense of urgency. We have to paint salamanders now. It's all about salamanders. Wait, now is it all about salamanders? Actually, I think it's all about dragonflies. Is what I had a whole dragonfly moment. With this dragonfly came and like hovered and looked at me. This little and it was like gorgeous and green. And I was like, oh, is the universe telling me I need to paint dragonflies? Maybe it is. Could also be that a dragonfly just thought, your hair is a flower? It's not a flower. It's a flower. It's not. Could have been that just as likely. But we had a moment.
Yeah.
I'm the one who chose to go eat, pray, love all about that moment. Other things that might be on the Patron Lives is maybe I'm a little less edited. Because I do try to be super careful with what I say online because you don't want to give the internets a heart attack.
No heart attacks.
And they so easily have one. You know, and you just never know what it's going to be that's super triggering. Oh. I'm ready to hop in. Are you guys ready to hop in?
You've got some, what is that right over there? Look, you got some on your surface. What is that?
I have, okay, so like, I felt like the wish on this was more like generalized for us. So like, right now I'm just wishing kindness, hope, love, and joy in all of your lives. That all of those human experiences are abundant in your world and you're surrounded by events and people that give you kindness, hope, love, and joy, because at the end of the day, that's what we all just sort of want, right? Little kindness, little hope, little love, little joy. So we're doing, John, you have the picture-in-picture, right?
Yes, I do. I
have this right here. So we're going to do this painting. There it is. Originally, in the first Made It Con, I was going to do this painting while giving a lecture, and that did not work. There's just a whole bunch of mistakes were made, and it didn't work. And then I painted it that night, sort of at the Glam and Jamma, and on a really big ampersand canvas, and I felt like I could do better.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to be getting a chance to revisit again. I have given you guys in the newsletter an alternative of dog silhouettes if you're like, yeah, I don't want a cat. And if you got the traceable, you might have noticed that I added some wings to the cat because I'm going to add some wings because I feel like I need a wing.
Because Cat Bat came back.
Oh, that's right. Cat Bat came back. The Cat Bat came back the very next day.
Well,
something.
It's not been the very next day for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what. And unlike Josiah, I can't sing. So.
Yes, you can.
Simon Cowell is not giving me a golden ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Well, luckily you got a painting show.
Though honestly, if I went on there, it would just be to give Simon Cowell grief about Top Gear. That's all I would be doing. I'd be like, Gordon Ramsay beat you on Top Gear.
I'm sure that's
not
exactly
helpful or productive, and I'm glad I haven't been given the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm sure that's like what he needs on a Tuesday afternoon
Look, he needs something. He deserves a little grief. He's super rich. He's all good. Not being super rich does not guarantee you a happy or easy life. It just means you get better concierge service in your day.
He seems overly competent.
Does he seem competent to you?
Extremely competent.
Oh, I'm just one news article away from something we're all going to be like, oh. All right. So we have an 11 by 14 surface here, and I'm going to begin this project with a ground.
Oh, it's a ground.
With a ground. Now, I've given you guys a grid if you guys very, very, very much love the gridding method. I'm kind of inclined to, because we are doing our own deal.
What deal are we doing?
What deal are we doing?
Yeah.
We're doing the deal we want to do. Because we're doing a Patron deal, I can show you guys some stuff that I might not necessarily do on the YouTube show. Like really go through my freehanding process.
You're gonna do the trick brush techniques?
Well, no. I mean, there's kind of a way you see me do this where I paint things in on my own little easel.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives me like one little result. So I might do some of the things that way.
Gotcha.
And I want to just enjoy painting this in on a Sunday. Because this is my painting time too.
Mm-hmm.
This is when I get to relax and do some of my stuff. Now, once I get it all loosely and crazily brushed in, I am going to go ahead and take the time to smooth it out a little bit on the surface before I begin all my little stuff and blending and things, because I feel like I will be glad I did. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. I have my white liquid paint out here for splattering. All right. So the usual hairdryer.
The usual.
I wonder if John will give you his speech about color shift. Let's find out. It's Patron time.
It's Patron time. What do we talk about when we're here on Not Sherpa? See that I don't know if there's any color shift on that. Maybe. It's hard to. So I did notice that camera's a little blue. So while we're sitting here, I could maybe just find out why is that camera so blue. It's a little. That was why. Look at that. That helped. A little blue, a little less blue. That's better. Okay. Yeah. So I had a camera that was being wonky somehow. I'm not sure why it was being wonky. Maybe. I'm futzing with cameras with them live.
Are you?
Yeah, because I noticed the camera's being kind of wonky. And I'm not exactly sure why. We're going to try to fix it. It's I'm trying to adjust out.
Well, I'm going to take, this is my Holbein pastel. Don't tell Holbein I'm doing this. And I'm going to just sketch in my round full moon shape. You'll notice I like to use my wrist to sort of get the angles.
Yeah.
To like use as a fulcrum. It's going to take me a second to really pull the moon shape in the way I want it to be pulled in. Just because me and circles, we have a journey. But I just sort of want to know where this is. And then I've got, we've got the cat and the boy, which are going to be coming across here. And then we've got these little cloud things. And I really want to fix some stuff about the clouds. Because they read almost between cloud and tree. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So somehow I've got to fix this situation where they're reading between cloud and tree. I'm going to put out a little of my Cad yellow for this next bit. I'm going to put out some more of my Phthalo Blue. I don't even remember what I had listed in the colors. Hopefully I put some tint white in there because I'm definitely going to put that out.
Oh. Wrong button.
Which is also zinc white or mixing white. They're really kind of essentially, for the technique, the products are interchangeable. It's really a preference thing. Just for the technique of it.
Just for the technique of it.
Just for the technique of it. And I put out a little Dioxazine Purple just in case I need to darken it for the sky. and a little bit of titanium white, and I'm going to do some blending. I've been getting asked a lot of questions about blending, and I think that's due to a series of videos.
Yeah.
That are not made by me. And I'm going to answer some of those questions since we're in Patron group. And I think it's pertinent to what we're doing about whether we want to use a goat hair mop or a synthetic mop as a blender. And I can kind of talk to you guys about why. Sort of think about where I have my little moon. If you really, really struggle with getting your circle or getting objects in, definitely you can use the grid to do the gridding method. You can use a plate, too, to sort of get a better circle in. I do that a lot. But I do want to create sort of a glow around my moon surface and this sort of radial outglow that I might be kind of thinking about. So when I'm painting kind of on my own, I will be like, hey, you know, what's the scale? How do I want an object to hold space? Because if I make this moon central, that's sort of a static image, right? Because things are balanced on both sides. So oftentimes I will be noticing that. I'm going to grab me a big, fat, round brush. And I'm going to get some yellow into my turquoise here. And quite a lot of the zinc. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, I think so.
Which isn't the zinc, it's the tinting in this line of paint. And I'm going to begin talking about this radial space. It's aglow, as it would be, around our little moon shape. However, I decide to paint the moon, I want to make sure that I've got a nice radial. Now, I have to keep my paint wet enough to blend. And do that with a blending medium. I can do that with water, a lot of things that I can do that with, but it's definitely, if I'm wanting to blend something and give it that sort of strong, soft transition, it will be about keeping that surface wet. And I may even come here and sort of wet it with my brush a little bit so it doesn't dry out on me in this dry environment. For you. I don't often demo some of these techniques on the channel, really because I know that certain things just mess up beginners. And I have to answer so many questions every day that I realized, oh, well, there's certain things I just can't take on.
Right.
But we have a small little family. So we can be more playful, we can experiment a little bit. We can kind of look at that. So everything's sort of wet right now. And I have these little micro misters. I got these on Amazon in a pack for my watercolor. And they're so nice and light that I realized that they work really well for my paintings. Now, here is my synthetic. And I'm going to just soften this transition so much. Look at that. It just softens it so much. Rinse it out. And very towel it off. If this were goat hair, I would get these obvious brush marks and obvious little spaces in it. It might look blended on the film, but not look blended to the eye. If that makes sense. Because sometimes things will look blended and transitioned quite well on camera.
Yeah, because
and be a hot mess in person.
When you zoom in, that's when you start seeing that blend breaks up.
It's and if somebody isn't, say, zooming in, you might not be seeing how rough that transition actually is.
See, this transition over here is actually really smooth.
Much like oil painting. And we can get that and we can exaggerate that. And again, while everything is wet, we have a lot of room. So say if I want to come in maybe with a little bit of yellow and some titanium white quite strongly, just adding more water to make sure that I've got a nice blend. I can come into this space right here. You can see I'm putting it down. Coming around in a generalized circle. It's not a perfect circle Because my concern right now, and your concern, should be working while the paint is still wet. Now, if you're drying, go ahead, and I have very dry conditions today, so I'm going to mist so lightly. It's just barely like a rainforest up in here. I'm going to make sure this is as dry as it can be and soft as it can be, so I can come here and then also transition this out. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. You just really just...
Look at that. I'm sorry, I know I keep saying look at that, but it's just really quite a lovely effect.
It is.
If you can get 2 of your blenders to have on hand so that you've got a dry one, you can also come here and soften it even further. Look at how soft that is. It looks like I got into the oil paint.
Yeah.
I flipped the brush over. So this is the side that has pigment, then I flip the brush over. Look at how transitioned that is. It is just as soft as it can be. So now I've got a really wonderful radial glow that is very soft that I can work and enjoy. And I'm going to be doing little kind of firefly glow lights. So I'm not going to put stars in per se today. Because I really want to play with that. And I really just want to make sure that the glow around my moon is pronounced and soft and goes out as if it's got a halo. I will go ahead and rinse that and dry it. I got to do both of them. Because you don't want to leave any paint on this. So goat hair versus the synthetic. Goat will pull too much water and clump. And if you then have it wet and you swirl it, you're going to get a thing with most acrylic paint called foaming, and it gets real rough. And it's real hard to get that smooth, actual textural thing when you're up on it.
Yeah.
Right? And if, God forbid, you leave some product on these, it's so much easier to restore them. Just so much easier. So this is just almost as soft as like a makeup blender for not concealer, foundation. About the consistency of the filament on that. I feel like I could probably find a makeup blender that would do this. I'm going to test that. Out. Okay, guys. How are you doing?
Good.
I'm going to dry this, and then we'll take a couple questions, and we'll get to the next thing.
So, what that means is, you guys, we're going to need some questions. Yep. She's going to come back, and I'll be able to, I know it's kind of fun just hanging out and chatting and doing all kind of stuff, and like, I'm all for it. But if you guys have anything you want specific for her, I will ask. I was just saying, they're kind of just having a social time chat.
Are you guys just chatting with each other? Am I just like here, like as decor? You guys visit.
We're
okay.
Students are in class just hanging out.
I'm gonna get to drink more coffee.
Me too.
Again, I'm not feeling the pressure of the evil and all-seeing algorithm crushing me.
No, they're enjoying chat. It's very social.
Chat is good, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why we get together and we talk. We want to do art. Now I'll come back in with my chalk and see if I can't put myself in a nice little moon shape that I know I'm gonna enjoy. Try to make it moon-like. Something that you think the moon would be.
Tina's like,
hounded by space.
Tina says she's watching. She's just having fun chat too.
It's okay, Tina. You guys can totally do you. This is really sort of essentially your space. And then I am sort of painting in it. Though I'm really excited. I like this idea of giving you guys first pick at some of my top choices of images that I think I might do, and letting you guys pick first the lesson you want, and then letting the main community get choices from. It's not like I pick terrible images. They're all kind of lovely. It's just sometimes there's stuff that you guys are like, yes, I must have a wrecked pirate ship. That was a very strong feeling y'all had. So I'm going to use just this bright. These ferrules. I'm going to use just this bright right here. And I'm going to paint in my moons. And I'll go ahead and just do a little of the yellow and white just to initially get it in, because there's certainly an aspect of a little yellow and white in it. Here's a trick. If I want to knock that yellow back a bit, you add a little purple to it, and it will gray it without having to get a black or a brown into it.
Well, there's a little topic that's come up that I'd like you to just talk about.
Okay, happy to talk about any of it.
So you've been selecting some new paint, and you're currently using the Senlier paint?
Yeah, I'm currently using the Senlier's acrylic paint, which is their professional line. It's a little different than their student line.
How do you feel like it holds up against the Holbein and Golden?
Okay, so here's the deal. It's fine. It holds up well. What I'm noticing, I'm getting some real opinions and starting to see how these great paint companies are all equally good, but also all different, like how they're different.
Mm-hmm.
So this is super saturated. It's very buttery, right? The pigments have been just terrific, which I would expect from this company. Tubes have been reasonable to work with. Caps are what you would expect with me on that kind of screw-on cap, because I always forget to clean my tubes. There was one tube, the Dioxazine Purple, one of them was a little curdled, but not all of them, so that was sort of interesting. And it wasn't through the whole tube, so that was like kind of weird. So I'm not sure if that was shipping, because a lot of this stuff comes from overseas. Matisse sometimes has that problem. Golden, there's very little drag on this. The drag on this is very low. It's wet longer, is what I would say, without being open. Golden is thicker. Its pigment load is crazy, right? And it's thicker. The heavy-bodied paint does less shrinkage. Golden is more like what you put on the canvas is what you end up with once it dries. Holbein is different than all of them. It's got great pigments. It's got low drag on the brush, and it has so many products in those pigments. I would say they have the most paint products in those pigments.
Gotcha.
And Senlier also does too, because the pigment you have in the acrylic, you can see in the watercolor, you can see in their pastels. Because the house produces all those products. They don't outsource it a bunch of different places. So your pressed pastel is the same as your acrylic. And Holbein's like that too, though I would say Holbein has more. Holbein probably has the most.
Mm.
So, and again, I would say the lower drag is definitely among Holbein and the acrylic. And then customer service, I would still say is Golden, though.
Mm.
For your ability to just reach a human being and have a chit chat about what's going on with your paint, Golden still is much more outreachy with its community. John and I were talking, it might be that Holbein is just based in Japan. So they might have tremendous customer service in Japan and just not have outreach in the United States yet.
Well,
was that what we meant?
Well, yeah. No,
I just dished on all these paint companies, which again, I wouldn't necessarily do quite yet in that way on the show.
Well, what I would say is it's not that Holbein does have excellent customer service here. What I don't think they have is the organic.
They don't have as much custom, like they don't have the Just Paint blog. They don't have
right.
The person that I can just call and talk to about paint. I can just call Golden and be like, I have a thing about paint, I think, and I need to check to see if it's true. And even before they know it's me, they'll still talk to me.
But I think if we spoke Japanese on their site, those resources.
Those resources are not there.
Okay, that's what I didn't know.
Yeah, those resources are definitely not there. That's a unique to Golden kind of thing. Amsterdam Royal Talons is trying to do that too. They're trying to come in there and do the in-school education and have the blog, but it's hard to find. It's just, they're just not as together. So, and Matisse is still fantastic, but it's coming in from Australia and you can only get it from Jerry's.
Great.
So you have to deal with all the problems related to that. All right, so I've got my little circle in.
It's actually a pretty glowy moon.
It's a pretty glowy moon, isn't it? Whoa. We want the moon to glow. We want a nice glowing moon. And so I like, I'm going to put out some of my black, I imagine. There it is. Or is that Dioxazine Purple? That's still Dioxazine Purple. There is, my Mars black. Oh, that's a brand new tube of Diox. Okay. Here's my Mars. Putting out some of that. Colors on this are super lovely. I will definitely say that. Do I want to... I think I'm going to go here for a minute and then see if I need to add anything else in. I'm going to stay on my little bright for a second. Oh, well, no, the round could be good. I'm going to go round. Change my paint. Water, because you see it's getting kind of loaded. The heavily pigmented acrylics tend to dirty up your water super fast.
Yeah.
Where you're like, what happened to my water? I do love this big, giant mega tube.
Yeah, those tubes are very impressive.
I love that. Oh, and here's what surprised me. This acrylic, actually on the Amazon affiliate links, was slightly better in price than the golden. So that's kind of why I changed those affiliate links over to that. Not only is that I'm testing it so people can buy what they see me using, it's because like the price seemed really good and it was from trusted resources on Amazon. Because some of those resources on Amazon are really shady. That's why I never do an Amazon affiliate link for makeup. I would sit there and put, like, if you guys were like, oh, that's a cool lipstick color, I would put it in the description. I don't mind if you buy the lipstick. But I don't trust Amazon's vendors to not sell counterfeit makeup, and that's super dangerous.
Right, and it's really hard for Amazon to police that.
Yeah, it's not that hard. I don't want to.
Well, I mean, it's like, how do
John's going to defend him, but I'm going to say I'm not buying it.
Well...
All right, I'm going to get some
it's complicated.
Black, and he's like,
Very
it's complicated. I don't think it's that complicated. John and I are different on this. I get a little consumer outragey. I do. I get a little consumer outraged. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to look at my little moon, and I've got some shapes that I'm going to kind of try to shape out and talk about maybe a little more accurately. In you know, that moon crater feeling. And I'm using the round brush because it'll do this cool thing. Just filling in a large amount of space and giving me a little rough bit. But can you see, there's a bit of foaming there. Again, I don't know if this ever shows on the show, and I never see other artists talk about it. And I'm like, do they not know it's foaming? Because I didn't used to know that's what it was doing. And so maybe it's that. You know, or are we just pretending our paint isn't foaming? I'm not really sure what we're doing. But right. I can see it right there. It's like, it's okay. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just...
So that right there, that raised material is actually little bubbles, yeah?
Yeah, there's just air in it. I'm putting a little more green color in over here, as you can see. I'm just trying to...
It's just foam
some of
paint.
This in a bit.
So that's not impasto. That's foam.
I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty good. Maybe I'll go into the bright. Sometimes brights are just easier to deal with, and I'll just soften some of this up. And I'm just kind of softening that up because I'm like, could be softer. So you're always just sort of working your edges, going hard edges, soft edges. And a lot of what's happening on your, oh, that's looking nice. I'm like all excited. That's lovely.
Yeah.
I'm going to add a little yellow to my white, and I think I'm going to come here and just maybe a little more yellow in some of this. I'm really liking this moon, so I just want to play with the moon a little bit. Maybe talk about some of these crater events a little more involved than I normally do, because I feel like the moon is almost one of the stars of this painting.
It's true. The moon is the star
of this painting. So I'm just trying to get that nice little texture going there and just enjoying painting that and enjoying my time with you. Whoops. I got enthusiastic.
You got a little mistake up there?
Yeah, it's easy enough to clean. Paint's underneath is dry.
Why is that not?
Good pro paint will let me take it off. That's why you like a good pro paint. I feel like my moon's got a dent in its little bottom over here. I'm going to back up a little bit for my canvas and just sort of stand back and work this out till I get it where I want it.
Dedent the moon.
Too much dedent. Now I've given it a growth. Don't give your moon a growth.
Now it's lumpy moon.
Lumpy space princess moon. There we go. Just curving this around. Taking my white paint. Just my white paint, and maybe lightening some little areas in here. Kind of, again, implying that moon crater experience that we might be having. You gotta love it. We don't gotta. It's not like a rule. But it's nice if you do love your painting. How are you guys doing?
Good. Everyone, they seem to be doing pretty good. Everyone's going to go look over here. I was been switching, so. Oh, yep, they love the craters on the moon.
We gotta crater it up, right? Like we just wanted to moon crater it.
Yes.
Crater your moons, man.
Awesome sauce, as it is said.
I had the burnt sienna just in case I needed to add some rust into this here, but I think we're doing pretty well.
Now, is the foaming due to the fast moving and the wetness of the brush?
It'll be like how much water's in the brush and the type of movement, like a circular movement or a scrubbing movement, will really create foaming. And all acrylic paint does it. That's why you won't see me take acrylic paint and try to make it just from scratch on the show. And the reason is because it would be super unsafe to do it correctly. To correctly make acrylic paint, you have to have a real handle on surfactants and sulfactants, on several anti-fade agents, and then there's this weird rheology agent, and then there's this other thing that allows you to put a certain density of pigment in there, because in acrylic paint, if you overload the pigment, it's not like oils or watercolor. We just get a really lovely saturated oil or watercolor. It starts to dull back out. In fact, that's how those mega mattes are made.
There was
by overloading the pigment.
Yeah, there were at least 3 like complex things you said there that I
did. Were they complex?
They were pretty. Yeah, it was pretty heavy.
That's why. That's really seriously. But there's this sort of very naive thought that we're just going to add pigment. It's just like oil painting. When you make oil paint, it's real.
Yeah, like you said,
unless you get into lead or dangerous pigments, pretty easy to make oil paint. It's, you get a mill and you get some beautiful linseed oil or spike oil and you can mill it into it and you've got some great oil paint. That's why artists used to be able to make their own paint. They weren't dealing with acrylic though, right? You need a quadruple mill to make sure that it's not going to do the chunky thing. And oh goodness, it's just such a problem.
Such
a problem.
Sulfacants and I don't even know what all that stuff is.
Yeah. And here's how you can make acrylic paint if you want to make your own acrylic paint. Buy the polymer, right? Like the polymer that you want clear. So that'd be the GAC 100 or any of the base gels, right? Like in Holbein, it's the crystal gel. And then you buy the high flow, which is their inks. And then you put that in that other thing. And now you've made paint.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Or it's conveniently sold in preset tubes.
I'm going to make a little radial spot on my little moon here.
And it's milled, and it works, and it's tested, and you can
just,
return it if it doesn't work.
You have somebody to yell at when it gets weird.
I'm just saying some things. Like, I don't make my own gasoline either.
Right? That's how I feel when I see that. I'm like, okay. No lawsuit coming from this in the future.
No, I mean, it's not that you can't make your own fuels. There's a hobby.
Don't the feds show up shortly after you start doing that, though?
They don't generally trust us to do it right.
Well,
which is, it's still not, again, there's not infrastructure. So it's, and the same thing here. Paint is made of, acrylic paint is made of several complex chemicals. And it's not that you can't do it, but it does require an understanding of complex chemistry. Is that?
Yep. You need to have an understanding of complex chemistry.
Yeah.
I can make a bath bomb, but I don't make cosmetics.
And again, there's
big difference. I can make acrylic soap like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that nobody was already doing that is super crazy to me, but, I can do that. That's pretty safe.
Well, there's also a difference between melting soap on the stove and making a soap a bar versus the kind of soap that we make where we're like doing all the chemistry and it, like you have to mix it and it cuts it.
Well, I'm not making something that cleans a garage floor.
Oh, no, that's what I was saying.
I would definitely not try and do that.
No, but things are complex. I guess we're digressing.
We are, but that's what we can do now. We can digress.
We can digress. I don't even know what we were originally talking about. Oh, don't make your own paint.
Don't do it. Don't do it, man.
Just.
It seems like a good plan, but it's not.
For
I'm going to come in here with this sort of. Let's add some glazing liquid into this because I think this will be improved by glaze.
For the 0.1% of our audience that might need to make their own paint, I'm sorry, but for the rest of you, don't make paint.
Don't do it without Golden's help.
Yeah, there's it's
for
super
goodness
complex.
sakes, call them. They will help you because they don't want you to die.
Don't make acrylic paint. There's all sorts of other paint you can make. Egg tempera, sure. That's
totally. Yes, make egg tempera by hand. Make your oils.
Mm-hmm.
Not the dangerous pigments, because several of those pigments will kill you.
Yeah, making paint is a scientific.
I'm gonna back up and look at my moon, yo.
Moon.
I'm just trying to get a sense of it. I'm gonna get some of my glaze just on my brush, and
you get a sense of that moon.
I'm getting it. See, sometimes you can use glaze to blend. Can you see how I'm doing this? Where I'm using the glaze to soften also some of this paint around here. I like that as well. Using my glaze to soften my paint. That's my Polly Shore painting voice. Using my glaze to soften my paint. Glaze.
And I look forward to all the comments of people saying, "Who's Polly Shore?"
No, man, this is Patron.
Oh, that's true. There'll be a whole bunch of people like, no, we totally know who Polly Shore is.
This is Patron, man. We can say funny things. It doesn't have to turn into some crazy nonsense on Facebook.
I don't.
We're allowed to have a sense of humor in Patron. I think that right now, and then we'll lose all our patrons, and then John will be like, "You're not allowed to have funny sense of humor in Patron."
No sense of humor of you for Sherpa.
None for you.
None for you.
I like to play with my moons.
I prefer when there's more than one.
When there's more than one moon?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Multi-moons.
Multi-moons. You can see I'm just layering and enjoying myself. That's what we do when we're painting. We just layer and enjoy ourselves.
I don't mean multi-moon in the rugby sense either.
No? Kind of pretty.
That moon is pretty incredible.
It's okay.
Colleen was saying the moon is incredible.
Huh?
Colleen said the moon looks
Colleen. You know what's so nice about this is that we are small enough in the patronage, we really don't have to be moderated.
Yeah.
Which means the mods actually get to come and be people.
I think I'm a moderator. I have a wrench.
You do. You are a moderator. If it got crazy or something unexpected happened,
I would bring the band hammer.
Yeah, I guess somebody could share the link.
I guess it's true.
Yeah. I don't really see that happening at all. Making sure I'm down there. I'm feeling pretty good about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it too. It feels very soft and magical. So when you're trying to do things and make them feel like a sky, and this was asked of me recently, like how do you do it in fantasy colors? What I'll tell you is that skies have transitional light values. So they are either stepping in a radial, sometimes they're stepping in a horizontal up the vertical. Sometimes they're doing a radial and that. They can be lighter at the top or lighter at the bottom, depending on the light source. And so whatever you're painting, whether it's a fantasy sky or that, as long as you're paying attention to like, oh, my horizon line will be lighter and it'll get darker up top. And if I have a light source, there'll be a radial light source coming out from that. You'll be pretty good. I'm going to draw this because we're going to really get into some of our cloud thoughts.
cloud thoughts. I wonder what she's thinking about the clouds. So, that will be something new. Back out there. So, thank you guys for coming and hanging out. I'm looking forward to, doing more of these in the future.
What?
I was just saying I was grateful for everyone coming and hanging out.
I'm super grateful for it. I want to heat my coffee.
I'll tell you what. You talk to them and do your thing.
Okay.
I'll keep the coffee.
So, I'm going to talk about clouds, and John's going to heat my coffee.
Okay.
One of the things I think I hear the most from everybody about is clouds. They're like, clouds. And while I'm using, because they have so many strong feelings on condensation in the upper atmosphere. Really, clouds just have certain properties and shapes, and you can paint them in a stylized way, you can paint them in a realistic way, but as long as you're keeping kind of track of some of those factors, like with the fantasy sky, you can get clouds out. So like in this, when we're doing our clouds, we know we want banks that are here and kind of valley in so that the rope can come across here. Now, a lot of people, when they initially saw this image, were sure that it was trees, which lets me know the edit on the digital image was slightly off. And what people need to see to go, oh, it's a cloud, wasn't there. So we're going to exaggerate those features. And what I think is nice about that is through exaggerating, I think it's going to give you a more cloudy cloud, not to sound like Dora the Explorer. Get your cloudy cloud on in your fluffy fluffs. Ayúdame! I learned all my Spanish from Dora and all my French from 2 years of French in college because I thought I was going to be speaking French. And then I went to France and found out I didn't speak French. So John's really good at languages. I'm kind of like Rosetta Stone can't even help me. And as a person, I think it's the ear. To be really honest, I think you have to have an ear for language. I get through because I want to talk to people desperately. I want to know like what's going on. I want to understand. So like I awkwardly will keep trying. But unlike John, who's like pretty organic and elegant at it, I sort of struggle through. But I'm pretty good at the language of art. So there's that. And that's been helpful in my life. My birthday's tomorrow. Can I say I'm getting less and less comfortable with those birthdays? My kids are so happy, and I'm like, are we doing something? Really? Okay, for you.
I'm happy for your birthday.
I'm not as much as John. All right. This is a little tacky and wet, and I can't get the charcoal, this pastel into it until it's not. So I'm going to dry this bone dry, and then I'm going to show you some cloud shapes.
Bone dry. So, yeah, she's right. You got to make sure you dry it off fully. Otherwise, the chalk doesn't like to stick. And you guys are patrons, so you've been here a little while. You probably know all that stuff. So I will say hello to all of our friends who are coming and hanging out. I really do appreciate it, guys. It's nice seeing you guys and having somebody to hang out with.
That's still there. You know what? It's the glazing medium. Let me keep going.
Keep it going. So I will tell her all the happy birthdays when she comes back. Thank you, guys. It's awesome. I don't think we're going to go live tomorrow. I'm not sure. Man, I never know what our live schedule is. It is one of those marital things where, I should not ask when the live schedule is because it's something that I should know. And she's right. I should know what the live schedule is because it is my job. But inevitably, I don't even know what today is, much less what I have to do later today. So, that's
Finally.
There you
See
go.
how long that took? That was
There's
like
some inside baseball.
What'd you inside baseball then?
That I should never ask you when the upcoming live is.
Because I get mad?
Yeah, that's what I said. It's like, what is
I mean, it's on a calendar and it's on the schedule and I put them out and all he's got to do is go on his computer and open it to see upcoming live streams. It's pretty, you guys can find it. So yeah, I sometimes am wondering why John is not finding the live. Marriage is hard.
I told you. I told you.
Take my chalk. And I'm going to give myself just a little guide about where I think I want to put his little rope, which is just a hair above the halfway line. And it kind of comes down on a bend, right? Going off into nowhere. We don't know what's holding up this rope. That's what makes it a magical kind of surreal piece, is the questions that we still have about what is going on. When you don't know everything that's going on, but you can recognize all of the things that are happening in the painting, it's a good indication it might be surreal. All right, so I like art. I'm going to make a cloud. Would you like to make one with me? I'd love you to make a cloud with me. I'm going to take my pastel here, and I'm going to make some shapes, and John's going to follow me, and I'm going to talk about my thought process. So clouds are wiggly little hot, messy bits that like to go up and down, and they wander out and they come back. And I need to make sure that the moon here is really quite covered all the way down to the base. So that first little cloud bank, I have to do that. Now what I'm trying to do is avoid repeating the same shape again and again, like I somehow have some weird cloud stamp. So that's one of the things I think that was wrong with those clouds in the first place, is they had a bit of the cloud stamp to them. Right? And so that will be my first layer of the cloud.
Got it.
My first layer of the cloud. And I'm going to be all in my tint white. All in it. All about it.
Yes, everybody thinks that clouds can be a little hard.
Clouds can be a little bit hard. Like, straight up. It's true.
Got to practice them. It's
super true. And I think, I'm looking at this, what might be nice for my clouds is a little of the, I'll get some of these off my little easel and put them to the side somewhere. A little of the blue and the black to do the clouds so that it feels a little different than the aqua that's here. And then by using that color, maybe I will be talking about my clouds more. This is my Silverstone number 12. Before I ever met anyone at Silver Brush, I had a lot of the silver brushes. This one I've had not almost the whole of our marriage. Because I think I had this one since I did that TD Industries commission.
Interesting.
I think that's how old that one is. So I'm going to put that in there. Now these are all hog. And the issue with hog bristles is sometimes they can get waterlogged. But this is such a nice, scruffy little brush that if I come and get a little blue into it, and then I grab a little black into it, so you see I load it all in there quite easily. Maybe a little of my nice little zinc here. I can begin laying in my little clouds, and I'm going to just very gently, I can see I'm like sort of wiggling.
Yeah.
So I'm following what I had here with this blue gray, and you can see it's like that steel cool gray. I'm going to use just this weird part of the brush. I like brushes that give me weird little bits like that because then I can do this craziness. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you for making my job less hard. And I'll take this nonsense all the way down. As you do. Up here. Look at it. And wiggle right up into that. You can see it just gets real dusty. Very nice. So that was a little bit of this and a little bit of this. And some of the zinc. Come up here. And it's okay if sometimes when you get up it's more of a gray and it's more of a blue. Clouds will do that anyway, so just feel okay about that. Just work it through. If you get some different values like that, work it through. Every once in a while, you want to thoroughly wash it out and then dry it out with your towel, your paint towel. Already you can see that's clouding up. Mm-hmm. You love how we have the glow on the moon. That's about this light edge. That's about the yellow in it, the light edge, and that radial that we did. The brush guys have that brush right now. And if you use that discount code, the Art Sherpa, you can get it for like, I think it's $17. We're going to try to find something that's maybe not so.
Yeah.
As they say in French, trop cher. They don't say it like that, though. A little bit like that. It's a semblance of that.
How did they say
Très and bon marché. Bon marché is reasonable, and très cher is like, yo, you're shopping in Monte Carlo.
Mm.
All right, so I'm, again, doing that little circling thing where I'm trying to just use the crazy little shape of my brush. I may have to go like this to get a good angle on it to make these little up and down cloud puffs. You can see I can be very light in my pressure. And it's giving me that soft edged, hazy edged little cloud shape that we need when we're trying to say cloud. We need to get those edges. Hazy shade in winter. Here we go. And then you just scrumble it all in because it's just, we can fill it in now. That's what you can do. Because layers are your friend. That's so nice, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So nice. So you can kind of see now from that line what I mean about clouds should be doing kind of crazy things. Just got to ask them to do some crazy stuff.
That's some interesting stuff.
They need to do some interesting stuff. Now I'm going to see if I can do this with my big brush, and then if I can't, I will move to a small bright, but we're going to try to do it with this big boy. I'm going to get my blue on and my black on again. But this time, let's get right into our titanium white, as you might want to. See how much lighter that is?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's come here and pick little bits and little edges and highlight them. That one needs to be a little bit lighter, so I'll get some more white on there. So I'm leaving some of the dark there. I may have to get a smaller little buddy. We'll see how it goes. Just softly put that in. Just some layers to work it up on. How's that doing? It's giving us some shapes. Get more into my white. Maybe kiss right here, kiss a little bit. And how do you decide where to highlight the cloud? Just, you can see where the light would be hitting it.
Mm.
Right? Where would the light hit this weirdly high moon that's super close? This is not possible in a sky.
Well, why is that?
Well, there's I don't know, science.
Because the moon's so big?
The moon's too big for where we are.
Well, so interestingly, that's only if you're not looking through a telephoto lens. So if you were looking through a telephoto lens, the moon could be that big relatively to the picture you're taking, because you're basically zooming in. So if you point your telescope at the horizon, you can get this shot. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
But it's kind of wonky.
I grabbed just a little bit of this. I've just gotten it damp, and I may come here and soften. I just want it damp. I'm going to soften some of this.
But it is a gigantically cool moon.
Just a little bit softened.
I've been thinking about taking my telescope out to take shots like this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But what you're really doing is you're trying to create these little rolled, rounded out bits of highlight that you're dealing with. That's what you're trying to do as you go. Some of the extra out.
Oh, where you at? There you
And it's just about trying to work my pigment in here and still have a nice light touch. It needs to be lighter than that, though. I'm just pushing this up here. And it's really, I've got those little circles going. I like that. I'm going to talk about that a bit. That's just wonderful. Little bits of just great. Yeah, I have to, maybe I'll go here. Sometimes I have to reposition my canvas to get the angle that I want,
Just
and I
put
just...
put it where you need it. I getcha.
Yeah, put it where I need it.
Put it where you need it.
I will. Even though you started with me.
I start?
It's fine. We're fine. Please don't. Oh.
Oh boy. If that was the biggest thing that we had to contend with, it'd be like
That would be great.
super awesome.
All right. It would be great. So you can see I'm just coming through here and see how I'm softening that. So
that's a very blendedy.
Yeah, this brush is the blendiest.
The transitioniest of brushes.
It just gives us that nice mix of those hard and soft edges. That's what the cloud brush was always about, was giving me some hard puffs in a cloud that was also soft. Always about that. Like I'll show you, you take one of these little clouds.
What are you doing there? Oh, yeah. There.
You can get the zinc in it too. It doesn't really matter. And then you can kind of come in here and pick one out. See?
Oh, yeah. You just highlight that cloud out.
Yeah, so that you can soften and highlight. So when you get back from that, let's get back. See how that just pops?
Oh, it does. Yeah, you can totally
and it
see
just
that.
feels more cloud-like. And the round shape of the brush kind of helps me.
The domeness.
Yeah, capture that. But really, this is just a dome scumbler. And then because we named it cloud brush, everybody thought it would be super soft.
Nope.
Sorry. First time doing brushes. I have learned a lot. I would do many things differently. From the place of now knowing. Grab a little more of my titanium, but I like my zinc on this right now. Zinc's lovely because it's just a little bit light and airy. See how we're just taking that little... I'm not using it to create all the clouds, but I can use it to find little bits of spots on them. And then, watch this, because you can, if you get up into here, you can get real airy. See, so then you can get that soft...
Oh, yeah.
Little airy bit that clouds will sometimes want to do. You don't have to worry about that line of anything at all, because we really have two lines here that we're doing. You'd be like, oh, no. Sometimes to get the surface where you want it, and then also at the angle you need it. It's hot.
Yeah.
That's what it is a hot.
I
don't know if it's the room is hot or it's just me anymore.
Well, you're cooped up in that little room, so it could be that you don't have any air conditioning blowing in there.
Now the other thing I can do with this, which I love these for, is these little wispy outs. See how that fantastic that is?
Yeah.
So I can wispy out that bit of cloud, and that creates quite a lot of weird little drop.
Where's the button? There it is.
Nobody needs to see my ear.
I like your ear. It's one of my two favorite ears.
Really? You don't like your own ears? Your own ears should be your favorite ears. They're the ones you hear out of. I can just, again, play with these little spaces. Like I'm going to find a little space there, and that creates another little element of that. And also, look at this. I can also still blend with this. If you ever have to have a hard soft edge, pretty easy to come in and soften an edge with that. So it's sort of an interesting tool. And how cloudy do those look now?
Yeah. Those are some pretty cool clouds.
Pretty cool clouds. And because it's a stiff synthetic, it doesn't get waterlogged, and I can always come back and
continue the scumble.
Continue the scumble. Yeah, you can just keep scumbling the scumbles. I'm going to dry this.
Okay.
And then hit the next layer.
You do that. So, we'll just check that out while she's drying it. Dry, she goes. And Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. I actually really like those clouds. I like bluey blue clouds. Although, don't know what else to say about clouds other than they're cool. So thank you guys, yes, again, for coming and hanging out on our Sunday Patron thing. Don't forget to text, oh gosh, I forgot what it was. I'll look over there while we're chatting here because I'm sure that I put it someplace safe and useful.
We will.
But I forgot
Take a
where
look at that and talk to everybody.
So I forgot I was going to tell them the text thing that I had for them.
Oh, the patron?
Yeah, there's the patron to... Oh, yeah! Sherpa patron.
How are you guys liking this? Is this okay?
Oh, yeah, this is awesome. I'm totally digging this.
It's nice sometimes to be able to be a little more relaxed.
Yeah.
A little more drilled down into thought process. A little more like waxing philosophical. YouTube does not like that. I get many comments. Must you say all the words? I'm like, I don't know. I felt like I didn't need to, but I'll examine it later.
We have a little coffee time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Little coffee, little space. Now, we have another little row.
Yeah?
Right? And then what we have the chance to do with this is create a very delineated little sense of another bank that might be down here. And then this one could be right here. Whole separate darker bank of cloud. So it's like layer. Ooh. So exciting. Maybe. I feel like it is. You can decide if you feel like it is. So I'm going to get right into that blue and right into that black. Work that into the brush as you do. Maybe go into our zinc. And start very lightly. And you can see I'm just very lightly speaking on this cloud space. And then I'll buff it down into here. It should be dark in the bottom. So it's just trying to make sure that it looks like a good run of them. Darker,
good run of clouds. Oops, I gotta get you over.
Darker clouds that are down there.
Switch sides on me.
And then they'll have a step down darker set of values than this first bank of clouds. Which will be quite nice. I may need to turn this upside down to get a good angle on it. Remember to turn that canvas and not yourself. And you can see how the chalking the lines allows me to sort of be free with the brush and make these little random shapes, but still keep to a plan. I'm going to get a little more blue and black into that. And I'm going to come here and sort of darken this little space. See how I'm darkening it? Yeah. This is almost a rouging technique. It's almost like you're rouging it. And you're just scumbling your little brush across. Scumbly, lumbly, lumbies. Lumblies all the time. Scumbly, lumbly, lumbies. Ah, it's nice. So now we have that second bank that we can talk about. And I'll rinse out my little brush here a bit. And it's a smaller space. And if I get feeling a little cramped, what I'll do is I can go into one of my brights. Is my sound still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go into one of my brights, and that I'm going to put out some more paint. And that will let me feel like I've got a little more control about where everything's going.
Ah.
It may be an illusion.
Isn't all of painting an illusion?
All of painting is an illusion. All of painting is an illusion. Which is awesome in and of itself. But I can get very similar good effects, from this. So, again, the blue and the black into the brush. And we'll definitely get a lighter value, but maybe not as light as what was up top. A little more here. Now, if it's too close to this value, you either have to bring it up a shade or the cloud in front of it down a shade. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'll show you actually how to do the darkening that above it method, because I think that's probably the least demoed. And that's how I would, if I was just messing around on my own, probably how I would get there. I'm not really trying to define the cloud too much down here. I just want to have some different values and things. So I'm going to take the blue into my brush, and I'm going to take the black into my brush. Back and forth they go, quite dark. It seems much darker than this. And that'll be the trick there. You can see I reverse paint that cloud bank into what's going on there. And I wash this out and grab some of my zinc. And I can do this with glaze too. And I will transition this softly into what's above it.
I'm zooming in so they can see the brush strokes.
I'm just transitioning that into what's above it so that it's not such a line. And then I can come back with a little bit of white here. And again, exaggerate what's happening here. There we go. And then you can see I'm softening it. The other way you can soften it is glazing.
Glazing, how does glazing soften it?
Because you can create transparent transitions, and that's another way to blend. See? Transparent transitions. And I like transparent transitions. So, you know, doing that. I'm liking it.
I like it.
Hopefully you guys are liking it too. Trying to come along here and make sure I've got all these guys.
It's clouds are a many-layered
They
process.
can be. Sometimes you can just go brush, 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 and you get a cloud. A big canvas with a big 2-inch cutter. You know, I think everybody's familiar with Bob's method of doing that. Sometimes, you know, they're wonderful little studied bits of fluff. You know, and then I'm going to get some glaze and sort of grab some blue, and I'm just black and blue.
Black and blue.
Black and blue. As you can see, I can come in here and then just blend using the glaze and the black and the blue. Again,
There we go.
just soft transitions between spaces. Maybe a little more zinc. And see, I can soften that pretty easily as well. So we can apply some stuff, and then I'm going to come back with a little lighter area here. What am I doing? I'm layering up. Can you guys see how I'm coming to this? Do you have any questions about how this is happening?
I've actually been really focused on the cameras here.
Oh, that's okay, because we can take a little break and sip some coffee and do chat, and then they can ask any questions that they might have.
They're definitely commenting on that it takes lots of layers.
It does, and I think a lot of times people get frustrated with their clouds early. Like I'm just doing the corner of the brush, so you can do my scumble brush, but then do the corner of the brush too. So a lot of ways.
And the way you get the softness is just the continuing to do the blending.
Yeah, it's the act of hard edges and blending edges. And again, you've got so many tools. You've got this glazing tool. Look at that glazing.
You're using
tool.
glazing medium there, huh?
You can glaze in here. That creates a whole soft transition. Let me stand back and look for a second. So, we're getting a cloud. We're getting that feeling of clouds. Some of those clouds are popped quite, heavily on there, and then some of them are very soft. Maybe a little more of this white here. I love doing that. Yeah, you could be super sporty. A little value there. Something's happening maybe. So you're just trying to also look at design and, what's happening. You can rinse the brush out and also soften that way. See?
Yeah.
So it's just soften, paint,
Wow.
add hard edges, soften, paint, and you just want to play those edges. And you can do a whole painting about one cloud.
You could just spend days on those clouds.
Days on one little cloud bank with its little rainy self. Now, to do the silhouette, I really, really don't want to have to try to argue with thick black paint. So I'm going to pour out my Carbon Black by Golden. Just because I feel like that will be the easiest for me.
Probably.
And I will do the tightrope with one of my number 4s.
That number 4 helps hold a nice tight line, huh?
It really does. In, breathe out. A line like this is always a little bit stressful across the canvas. And I'm really relying on my surface to be a bridge for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's really not much you can do to tape something like this, huh?
Oh, I think actually you could. There is a curve tape for architecture, and you could probably make 2 little pieces of curve tape, and it would give you a perfectly good line. You could probably use a Posca pen. Also, a lot of solutions, I think, for this problem. You just got to figure out what's right for you as a creative. Sorry, I'm leaning in your way, guys.
You're not leaning in the way. I've got
Am I
multiple
not?
cameras.
Okay, thank you, babe.
Working on.
So just trying to make a nice little even line that's coming in and off the surface. When I put the figures on there, it will start to translate as a tightrope on its own. So we've done some things that are a little different than the reference. We've curved the tightrope a little bit. Yeah. That is intentional. In the same way, it was intentional that the Greeks bowed the columns in the center to make them look as if they were holding weight.
Ooh.
Think about that. They didn't have to make them thicker in the center and tapered on each end. Slightly. But it gave the impression that things were carrying the great weight of what was above them. Oh. Very exciting stuff. That looks pretty good. Now the anxious work of freehanding a little kid in there. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? And I'm wondering if I can't get one of my, I probably can do him, but I'm wondering if I don't want to get one of my watercolor pencils. So we'll see how this goes. And if I get him fairly well, then I'll leave it alone.
Okay.
But if I don't, yeah, I don't know how well I can see this. One foot going back. Arm going back. Ends about there. Another arm coming forward here. That is very hard for me to see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I can see it. Looks pretty good.
Really? I can barely see it. I cannot see what I have even there.
It is very light.
Yeah. I probably should get my Caran d'Ache, but I'm not gonna. I hit a little forehead here. And then that gorgeous, cute little profile that reminds me of those little profile cutouts. Remember those where they cut out your profile as a kid? So well done. Hard to do.
It's turning out pretty good there.
Why not use the traceable? I don't know why.
Because
you use the traceable.
It takes you longer to use the traceable?
No, I don't know.
You're stubborn?
I'm stubborn.
Okay. We got it on audio.
No, I mean, like, I don't think I've ever hidden that. Hey guys, Mom's still filming.
Almost done.
Almost done. All right, so I've added a little hair. How crazy like that?
I like it.
Hair's nice. There's this neat sort of hoodie shape at the back that you might get. You know hoodies. Hoodies are cool on a coat. Coat hoodie. And then up the front there. So I'm just trying to build it segmentally, looking at the reference, building each little element at a time. I got the jacket a bit. Because kids like, you know, they got baggy jackets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
He's coming in.
He's something. He's something, yo. All right. So, say the knee is maybe right about there. Trying to capture that sense of a shoe and a pant leg. So sometimes I'll get quiet because, you know, I got to think.
Yeah.
It's really tough on the show when I can't get quiet to think.
Concentrate.
Like, dude.
All the time.
If y'all could go away and just come back in about 10 minutes, I'll have this all worked out. When I was first on, it was so hard for me to talk and teach.
Yeah. You're doing pretty good now.
Yeah, but remember all those weird, wonky paintings? I'd do like a great study and then get to painting it, and I couldn't talk and paint at the same time.
Well, I think what it is the only thing that was ever in any real danger were straight lines.
So a little tip here. So if I put the knee here, I need to put the next knee on a fulcrum in the same sort of similar space. Okay, so it go there?
Yep.
And again, the ankle. And that's what you're just constantly thinking of is like, oh, I've got to put this in a similar space. And that's how, no matter what you're doing, as long as you're getting your elbows and you're getting your arms, as long as you get them on the right fulcrum. Think of Da Vinci's painting with the guy in the circle. And look at it again as a reference to say, where does the knee have to be? And it's very telling.
Knee has to be attached.
It has to be within that circle. They have to be on their same ellipse. Is that what ellipse?
Yeah.
There we go. Nice little shoe. And once again, I've aged up my child. Because I'm me and I can't do it unless I can age them up by 2 years.
That's true.
I'm a slightly helpful forensic artist. If all you need is about 2 years.
It's looking good.
It's back on here.
And you have a couple of animal references for people.
Yeah, that I sent out on the email.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is a short throw.
We're going to try to figure out how those will go just right to your inboxes, your dashboards. Do you know what I mean, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I can write a note or write a thing and then...
I'm not sure if I'm more disturbed by the tight walking kid in front of the moon or the kid flying in front of a moon on his bike with an alien invader.
I think they both have their
ups and downs.
They both have their ups and downs. There's issues with both, man.
They're just in chat. They were saying that you could do a kid on a bike flying across the moon.
Yeah, once you get these techniques down, though, that is true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of putting a little hand out there that looks like it could be holding a balloon. Wish me luck. I'm offloading because there was just too much paint on there, and I got to get this darn string out. Well, gosh darn it.
What's wrong?
I just went right over the thing that I worked so hard to make.
That crater doesn't need to be seen.
Yeah. That happens to me on occasion. Okay, I can make another crater. It was bothering me on the moon.
Need more craters.
Move it over a couple places.
You could.
Sometimes that happens to everyone. I hear you, Twix. You can keep snarfing at me, but I don't have any snacking.
I think she's saying, it's time.
I think she's saying, because she knows I'm the weakest link.
She does.
And I'm the most likely to have snackies hidden on me somewhere. So, she's going to have to learn studio time is not snacky time.
No.
Not snacky snack time.
Despite how cute she may or may not be acting.
I know. I have to pick her up. You guys have to see her. Hold on a second.
All right, let's see if we can find her.
Come here. Come say hi, everybody. Because you're so cute. You're so cute. Look at
She's
this cutie
so
patootie.
not groomed. She's so
She's not
scruffled.
groomed. She's just free and wild and fluffies. And smelly. Oh, I took my mic off. See if I still have the puffy. Puffy's gone. Okay, found it.
Okay.
This puffy runs, man.
What you doing over there?
I'm putting my puffy back on, man.
Got a puppy.
Yeah. Look how good this looks. This actually looks good.
It does. I like it. I was just looking at the little dude in the moon.
Fortuitous that it's in front of the crater because it almost makes a focal point at the crater.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, you got bonus points for showing off the puppy.
Or did I? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, patrons get puppy? I don't know. Cat.
No
First
cat.
burn cat.
No cats.
That's Cat is obviously very excited about the balloon. And I think the thing here that I'm going to be dealing with is just trying to get the aspect ratio of the cat together. So I will be working it slightly slowly, building up slowly. Into the cat. And again, I include traceables for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have used one today. I'm sorry.
Why?
I don't know. Something a perfect look at.
I like it.
He's cute though. And
You
then I know
It would have to be a cat in this image, because a dog would look at that high wire and say, "You're nuts."
a dog would absolutely go. Cat would not go with you. Unless it just felt like going across the high wire on its own. It was heading that way anyways.
The cat
And
may
maybe
follow
you want
you.
to share that balloon. That is
Yeah.
the only reason a cat would be out here. And I want you to know that Twix over here snarfed and objected to what you said.
I imagine so.
So I kind of overdid his foot a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse out my brush real well. And I'm going to see if I can't walk it back.
Oh, that foot. Do.
Walk it back.
You unpainted his foot.
I unpainted his foot. He'll be fine. I will do something about the tail here.
You know, it's hard to do things like put a bobtail cat in a painting, because it's real easy that people could misinterpret that bobtail cat as some other animal. You know?
Yeah.
Like, why'd you put a raccoon on your painting? Or it's like, it's not a raccoon, it's a bobtail cat. You know?
And they'll be like, I don't think you know what that looks like.
Yeah. And it's so it's frustrating sometimes when I see, you know, that kind of struggle where it's like sometimes it's hard to paint objects that photograph well.
Yeah.
You know? Because
Yeah.
visually they're so complex.
And they have like such a specific little.
Yeah. Like you get just a little angle off and man, it goes wrong. Not that I paint, but I have watched you do
feel like he's working
of
out.
it. I feel like I'm the ultimate armchair painter.
You are, man. You have seen a lot of artwork. He was just at a party explaining my art. He was at a party where my art is from one of our collectors, and it's a really big piece, and he was explaining our art to somebody.
It was really funny.
I wasn't there. I was watching the kids, and I had to work, and I couldn't go, so Honey and him went.
Yeah, and so it was funny that I've looked at a lot of Cinnamon's artwork, and it's something I know a little bit about.
Okay, looking at this, I was initially going to put wings on the cat, but I think it's going to be distracting.
Distracted cat.
I just think he's so small in this right now.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. Like if you,
I just think it wouldn't work to have the wings right now.
and that's just kind of what I was just talking about. Like the wings could confuse it. So you're like, Why is there a gargoyle chasing the boy? It's like, it's not a gargoyle. It's a winged cat. And they'd be like, sure, you don't know what a winged cat looks like. You'd be like,
age that kid up. All right. So I feel like if you will indulge me,
yeah.
I feel like we will do better to maybe work Indian yellow and cad yellow, or if you have it, Hansa yellow. And the reason is you're going to want a transparent yellow.
Why
It's
is
as
that?
transparent as you can get it to do the next part. I'm going to get one of my small filberts. This is that number 2 filbert that I have.
Yeah.
I'm going to load up my brush. I'm definitely going to get some of my zinc into it. Let's see if we can get some glow on. And I mean, you can always get a little cad and work it in, but you want a transparent yellow. Glaze is also good. So getting in there. Making the first part of the glow on the radial. What you want is you can always put that hot spot in your glows. It's very hard to get the transparent outer ring. You got to start with that.
There's a lot to this one.
There is. It looks like a very simple design, but it is definitely more involved. It's not going to be as involved as, say, the ship, which we may do over several sessions. I'm looking at our shipwreck and like how well we want to paint that. We may do it over a couple sessions. You know what I mean, babe?
Yeah.
And that's okay. I don't mind. What I want you guys to have is just a really good painting experience and community experience. So, you know, whatever it takes to get there. It got tight on my back.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I was worried about you there.
It got real tight. I'm gonna
Where'd
come
you
over
go?
here and start
Oh, you're over there.
glazing up some little circles. You
Yeah,
can
now
see what I mean about it being very transparent. It's just that first.
Yeah.
You'll notice that I'm making some bigger and some smaller.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to vary up the size to really, you know.
Not make a pattern.
Yeah. Taking them up there. And so we've started that, and that glow is going to help us because then we can come in and you can take the titanium white I'm adding it to the Indian yellow, and then come in and start to talk about a hot spot in that glow. There we go. We're starting to see it, aren't we?
Yeah. Oh, there you're there. And then you're over. Oh, you're still over there.
What I'm doing is I'm just rocking the paint back down my brush.
And I'm going to come over there real quick.
Just heating up. Oh, is my mic bad? No. What's easy for me? Okay. I apparently do not know how to wear my mic. No, I might not. I'm not picking, babe. I just may not. All right. So when I get those next layers of hot spots in, I really rinse this out. These are the hardest ones to rinse out.
Yeah.
Just to clean them, they're the hardest. I'm going to take some of my white, if I can get it to come out. Get on me? No, it didn't get on me.
There's some white. Did it squirt?
Yeah, I'm good. You could use your dotting tool. I'm going to use just another. Look at this. It got all over me, though, here. Yeah, my hands are always covered with paint. Brushes are always covered in paint.
Pretty typical around here.
Typical Sherpa. Making a mess. I also like to put some of these dots like elsewhere in, like that are smaller. It just creates a dimensionality that I think adds to the whimsy of the piece.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Just carefully dotting. Who else here today?
Oh my gosh, I have to look over here and see. I've seen, let's see, Craig, Colleen, Molly, Kim, Patty. I saw Stephanie and Mark earlier. Let's see, Tina. I mentioned Tina earlier. It's hard for me to.
No, it's okay. I was just asking, like
Cameron.
Like how many people found the event?
I don't know.
All right.
We got a handful of our Sherpettes here.
Keep the link because it won't be on a page on the website yet. Because we don't have a way to keep that private from everyone else on the website.
We will soon.
Yeah. But until we do, keep the link. I mean, I'll have it.
It may also be in your dashboard on your blog page.
Soon.
Yeah, so when you
log on that blog that I did, right?
Yeah, so if you log into your website
and check the blog, but does the blog go to everybody?
Yes, it goes just to all patrons.
No, but sweetheart, only the Power and Precious are supposed to have that.
Yeah.
And if it went to everybody, it went to every patron.
No, we'll go check that out.
Okay.
That's one way or another. We'll figure it out.
See our marriage showing.
Well, so yeah.
That's where a marriage shows. No, darling, that's all the patrons.
But it does separate by groups. So you can specify that.
Okay. Cool. I don't know if it did.
Well, you know what? They may have got a bonus. So we'll work it out. We can make changes.
All right, here we're going.
Yeah.
Excellent. Look at that. Now let's take a minute and look at that because we're at the end.
Let me go over to the. There we go.
Just pull this out and see how it stands on its own as a work of art.
You want to turn around and look at the front camera?
I'm still looking at it for a second because I'm going to sign it.
Oh,
I haven't signed it.
Let's sign it.
I probably will come here on the side with my little detail brush and a little white paint. Since this is a one of.
Yeah.
There you go. Look what we did. All right, I'll turn.
Yeah, I think I like how it turned out.
Yeah, I do too.
Let's see.
I don't know if I'm standing on the right side or not.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So what do you guys think? Patron only live stream. Groovy. Changes. Liking it. Want something different?
No, I've been enjoying this. So at the very least, I like this. It
was a relaxing paint for me. Just being able to be like, oh, I'm gonna get this transition real nice. Oh, I'm gonna get these glows real nice. I'm gonna work this cloud bank a bunch. Feeling like I have the room to like freehand the little kid in was really nice. I almost did the balloon red. I had thought about it, which is why I was going to do butterfly wings, and the balloon red, which was why we had Dioxazine Purple and Quinacridone, and the Cad Red was for those things. But then I realized if I put a red balloon, then I was going to just think of it, and then it was going to make me sad about the painting. So feel free to make it red. But I realized it would make me sad, so I decided to not go with sad.
All right. Yeah.
About the painting.
That makes sense.
Oh, that was really nice there. Some interesting different ways we looked at getting clouds. I hope that part where we talked about finding those edges and lightening them and seeing the dark values, and that's how we're separating them out and pulling them apart from each other. Maybe that unlocks some stuff, or you know what? But don't worry if it didn't, because I'm gonna keep pounding on unlocking those clouds for you until we just crack it open and you're like, I paint clouds. All the clouds for you. And you do the floss of the clouds. You can't see him flossing, but I'm flossing. Okay.
That's what we should
my
call
kids
this.
made me learn it. Huh?
This the viral name for this, the clickbait, is how to cloud floss. See,
it is this kid would go out there and he would do it. Okay, anyways, I'm good.
Flossing kid in the clouds.
So any questions before we head out? Because we talked about it having a Q&A at the end. So
they all say, love this, love this, love this. Everyone's saying that they want to do this again soon. They love that you covered the brushes. That was really good to help. They like the going over the star technique. That was good. You could do a whole painting on just clouds for them.
Okay.
They would like that. Just a cloud primer.
Okay.
So that's been the big thing that I've been saying. There's been a couple comments on that. So,
that'll be a good video.
This looks really cute.
Yeah. Are you guys looking forward to the ship? I think the shipwreck won the vote.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be fun because that's a lot of reflection. We got some ocean. We got that ship. I think it's going to be a really pretty piece.
Lots of happy birthdays coming to you as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, this is great. Nice. This has been great. We should do this again next time.
Well, we're supposed to. It's like part of the agreement.
I'm looking forward to doing this again next
time.
I
got to figure out when, for those of you that are interested in the figure painting, I'll figure out when we're going to tuck that in there because I definitely want to do some of that in the patronage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because again, I won't do it on the YouTube channel because it's going to YouTube's getting weird and certain things will just create a whole series of problems on there.
Yep.
They're just not worth dealing with.
No.
But through this, we can just do whatever we want.
I like it.
Which is where the fan art went. And you'll be seeing it again soon. We're just creatively re-releasing it. So if it gets blasted, we are not in the blast zone.
Yeah.
So, figure painting, I think I found a Dead God that I thought was really nice. That'd be fun to do. And then, other pieces, like, to me, it's like sort of interesting. I've got a little watercolor coming up for you guys next month. We got the shipwreck. We might break that into a couple classes just so we're not feeling like we've got to power through in just one sitting. Just, here and there, if you're cool with it, so let us know how you feel about that. Like that way we can maybe drill down on certain elements, like in like a more focused way, like we do on the big art quest. Sometimes it's nice to just drill in and be like, we're just doing this right now. I love that about the still life because we just met over 5 classes?
Mm-hmm.
And we were really able to say, this is grapes, only grapes. And then we were like, only wine, only this weird lemon. Okay. I use a lot of weird voices in my home life. Thank you very much for the support. Seriously. It makes a big difference in our ability to do this. We have a website, and that website has a lot of, we have a tech team that we have to, for all the servicing of the site that we've got to take care of, and the internet, and because we need extra internet because we're living in this weird old town, and all those things. And it just really helps us be able to do that. It really does make a genuine, direct difference for us specifically. So we really appreciate it. Right, babe?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You got all quiet on me.
No.
You know how when you're married and your spouse thinks you're saying something like completely crazy, and so what they do is they get quiet and you can feel a disturbance in this force?
No.
And then like you don't, but then sometimes they're just also being quiet. So then there's that weird moment where you're like, is it that I'm being crazy or he's just tired? I don't know.
Just
I can't see
today.
him.
Just tired.
I see him, I can tell because the face and everything. And the little cartoon cloud that will go over the head. But I don't have the cartoon cloud right now.
Oh, no, everything.
Can I say that I'm just really chuffed about that nice glow?
I love it.
Isn't that fun?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We could play more with blending too. I think blending classes like really go into some blending, like practice our blending. That would be good in the clouds too, because we could do some crazy clouds and then get into some blending and do all that and play with all those brushes and those tools and just fiddle. Fiddly. I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for making time for us today. We're really happy to be able to teach art.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Be good to yourself and be good to each other. And I want to see you at an easel really soon.
Bye-bye.